Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review of one of my favorite shows of the season, Hoseki no Kuni, or Land of the Lustrous, Episode 8. God, this show is just, it's so good. This is my favorite episode so far. Before I even get into talking about it, this is my favorite episode. It blows all the others out of the water, and all the other ones are great too. It hasn't had a single bad episode in my memory whatsoever, and this solidly is the best of them all. Just because you could tell that though I've really praised the way they've done 3D CG and made it look really, really good, they went above and beyond this episode. I thought it looked even better than normal. The animation was really great. Yeah, let me talk about it part by part so I don't miss anything or skip anything over in my excitement to talk about other stuff. So starting at the beginning, when Anardicite jumped in to search for Foss's arms, my first reaction to that was kind of, dumb move, Anardicite. I mean, you could die. Those things are seemingly alive somehow, so they could crush you, or you could just sink or whatever. And she doesn't really sink. She can kind of swim around and stuff, which I thought was impossible for the rock people. Also, her skin, or whatever, is still, the white stuff doesn't come off, so I guess she's cooled even in water. For her it makes sense though, her being able to swim and stuff, because she is kind of normally in a liquid state, but kind of freezes, and because ice floats in water, I'm just giving it the benefit of the doubt, and saying, you know what, fair enough, Anardicite can swim. She can't take failure though, that's one thing she can't do. Because of losing Foss's arm, she cries and is breaking down, and really just cannot take the failure. So then she goes, she searches the, and I think it's because she really seems to value her memories a lot more than the others. The others get broken apart and they're like, oh well, I'll get put back together, and especially Foss will lose entire arms and be like, oh well. But she seems to really, really cherish and value her memories, especially her memories of the Master, so I think that's why she cared so much about losing Foss's memories. So the Master then tells them to search the Chord Shore. It's apparently where all of these gem people are born, and we actually... one thing I don't want to skip over, I love the way Foss pointing, like, where is that, and pointing at stuff with her stubs. So funny. But they actually go and get to see this... I guess it's not really it's more of a hill than a mountain, but this giant rocky outcropping where the gem people are actually born. And we see one that kind of falls out and then breaks apart, but it wasn't fully formed. And Anardicite says that that's where they're born, and that only rarely are gems fully formed and sentient like they are. And of course we already know the story behind it, that all of this non-living matter that was once living matter and stuff from ancient times sort of gets pushed together until finally it rises up there. But all that's there, they say, is gold and platinum. It's interesting that they can use that, since I don't really consider that's more of metal than gem, so it's kind of cool that they can use that. But they affix a gold arm onto Foss, and gold is super, super heavy and malleable, so it isn't really the best move for them to use in a body. The sun comes out then, and as the sun is coming out, the gold is also affixing itself to Foss, and even more than affixing itself to her, it begins to engulf her. The Lunarians then show up at the school, and they all bow to the Master, and then reach out to him, and the way they behave is really weird, but they're basically trying to block him from going to save the other two. And it's interesting how they're using much more complex strategies here, because normally they only come in like one singular group, but here they kind of had three. They had the first one that went and attacked and was taken down by Anardicite, the one that was taken down by the Master, and then the third that got away in the end with Anardicite. So it's really cool how the Lunarians, and the way that they're using different weapons made from the gems, it's really cool that they're bringing forth these different new strategies. It's almost as if they're learning or adapting somehow. Moving forward past that, though, they do end up trapping the Master there, using this weird smoke whatever. So again, they're learning, they're using different things. We see Anardicite fighting the Lunarians, really, really cool. She gets distracted by seeing the explosion at the school in the distance, and while distracted, gets tied up, and the Lunarian is using a bunch of explosive gems, and they both end up getting blown to bits Anardicide survives all chipped up and really, really messed up though, and Anardicide looked really, the design was really cool when like a bunch of the clothes were torn off and like she was all chipped apart and stuff. It was really cool looking. So then when she finally finds Phos, Phos is trapped in a cube of gold. Anardicide then, I love this, as she's dying, which was just devastatingly sad to me and everything, and she's quickly actually become a character I really, really like, but Anardicide, as she's dying, what made me love her even more is she tells Phos to be quiet and that she leaves Winter to her. And I love that because at the very end she's still trying to say, okay, be quiet, and trying to protect and save Phos. The gold actually protects Phos by trying to cover her mouth, and then we get this incredible musical swell as Phos pretty much decides that she's going to get stronger, and we have the most incredible sequence. I think I've said that word a lot this review, but the best sequence in the show so far, where Phos, the gold opens up and it just looks awesome, and she decides that she is going to fight and that the gold's going to fight for her, and the gold's like, as she's trying to move, her body keeps cracking and the gold keeps filling in the cracks to hold her together. So I just love that, and she pretty much, I think she takes down the few around her, but there are still a couple more, and she's like, no, ignore them, we have to stop the one escaping. So she goes after the one escaping. Again, Lunarians, we don't know if these ones that actually come there are the real things, or if they're just some sort of creation that they use. I don't even know the right word for it. But she ignores them to go for the main ones that are escaping. And then anything else? Nope. That's pretty much it. She can't reach him in time, and then the Master ends up grabbing her. Incredibly good looking scene with the Master just staring out into the sun as they lose Anardicide and holding Phos in his arms. Really great. And then the ending music playing, the different song with just showing Anardicide's room as the sun is rising. And I feel like, yeah, we saw in the preview we're going to be getting spring and everyone else is going to be waking up next episode. So it'll be cool to see everybody waking up and how they react to stuff. And also Phos using gold as part of her body is really, really cool. But as an episode, I thought it was absolutely beautiful. There was great character work. First, for Anardicide, seeing the way she values memories, the way she would try her best to save Phos, even at the cost of her own life. Multiple times at the cost of her own life, she was willing to protect Phos. Which is a lot different than a lot of the others that are like, if we kind of lose her, she's a bit useless. Anardicide's self-sacrifice was really, really cool. That and just, I don't know, her general character to me came through so much this episode. Phos was great because we actually finally got to see her take that moment, step up, become strong, and try to save someone, even though she failed. And she went through such a range of emotions in the episode. It was just so cool. She's losing a lot of memories, though. In the Master seemed more human this episode than ever before. Human in sort of the emotional sense, where he really seemed to care about them, and he blamed himself for the mistakes that happened. It was just really, really cool, and I felt the most for him. Oh, and it was cool too, when he showed up to save Phos, he was kind of all scratched up and stuff, showing that he went through a fight too to get there. So he didn't seem like this all-powerful being that doesn't really have fair connection to the Rocks, where it seems like it's a one-way street with them all adoring him, and he's just aloof and sort of hard-boiled or whatever. But he seemed really, really, we got to see him at a more vulnerable state, and it was great here. And yeah, just the music and emotional touches in it were just amazing. So, perfect score. First perfect score. I said I was holding off until it was a really emotional and great episode, and this deserves a perfect score so much. So 10 something out of 10. 10 Winters out of 10. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of this week's episode, what you thought of my thoughts in it and all that. Subscribe for more Hoseki no Kuni, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. I'll try to keep you updated there and stuff for the channel. If you want a link to our Discord server, just ask and I'll give you one. That's it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.